Welcome to the very first episode of Instrumentation Insights. I'm excited to launch this series where we'll be sitting down with KOBOLD experts to explore the technical innovation shaping our field. Today, we're joined with Michael Besser, our application engineer, to discuss KOBOLD's C3T0 technology. Michael, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. As we kick off this series, let's start with some of the fundamentals. Could you explain what C3T0 technology is and why it's generating excitement in the industry?
Certainly. Every application that a customer may have has wildly different types of needs between analog outputs, digital outputs, pulse outputs, switching outputs, totalizing, batching, temperature measurement. These are all different needs that a customer may or may not have depending on their specific use case. Now, ordinarily, an electronic can meet one, maybe two of these needs at a time. And as such, it gets a lot harder to try to find a product for your specific needs. The C3T0, on the other hand, offers all of these in a very easy to use, configurable menu, so that regardless of what type of application you have, there is almost certainly an option on the C3T0 that you can use for it.
Awesome. It seems like there's a lot of functionality and different features, so that's great. I'm aware that KOBOLD has incorporated this technology into several of our instruments. Could you please tell us a little bit more about these instruments?
Certainly. The C3T0 is most commonly used on our magnetic offerings, the MIM, MIS, and MIK. It has also recently made its way over to one of our ultrasonic offerings, the flagship ultrasonic, the DUK. Now, the magnetic ones do have some needs in terms of having a conductive media. However, they do also provide a large amount of different options and configurations and even onboard temperature measurement. So there's a lot of different applications you can use for it, so long as your media is conductive. The DUK, on the other hand, can also handle many media that are not conductive. And the DUK even has a special functionality with the C3T0 where it can enable a larger array of different media viscosities to be measured. So between those options, there's a lot of different variety in terms of where the C3T0 goes. Now, but we can't really announce anything too direct with this, but I should also say that we are currently planning on moving the C3T0 electronic to more devices into the future, so look out for that.
Awesome. Love to hear it. And kind of going along with that, what sets these instruments apart from traditional flow measurement devices?
Certainly. So the MIM, MIS, and MIK are all different types of magnetic flow meters, and the DUK is an ultrasonic. So the magnetic flow meters do have some conductivity requirements. However, if you do meet those conductivity requirements, then these products are incredibly versatile. They offer a dual line LCD display so that you can both output and in real time monitor two different aspects of your flow, such as if you want a totalizer and also an active flow rate, or let's say you wanted a flow rate and a temperature. You could do combinations of either of those two. The MIK in particular has also 6 different material combinations, which makes it particularly suited to different caustic media. And it is also worth noting that the MIK is, of course, built in America for the BABA compliance. The DUK is an inline ultrasonic flow meter. And traditionally, inline ultrasonic flow meters have had issues in terms of versatility with different media viscosities. Okay. Viscosity plays a large factor into what's called the flow profile, basically how the ratio of the flow rates changes with regard to how close you are to the edges of the pipe. Mm-hmm. So the higher viscosity media will tend to have a more pronounced parabolic flow profile pattern. And unfortunately, if you're attempting to send and receive sound waves through this, that tends to throw off your measurements. This has kind of been a relatively common weakness amongst inline ultrasonics for the industry for a while now.
Mm.
However, there are ways to intentionally compensate for it. And the C3T0 fortunately has a media database that enables a much larger range of different viscosity media to be used for it. You can even see on the data sheet for this that we've gone from a maximum of 3 centistokes that we recommend for this to 58 on the C3T0 alone.
Wow. Awesome. That sounds great. Definitely sounds like there's a lot of functionality, and I've definitely heard ultrasonic as like a buzzword going around. So I think it's definitely really interesting. All right. So I understand that there are some interesting installation advantages coupled with C3T0 technology. Could you walk us through some of those?
Of course. Now, as I was saying earlier, there is the dual line LCD display. So anyone that using these out in the field could simultaneously monitor 2 different aspects of your flow. That's fairly uncommon for a lot of different displays. But in addition to that, it's also incredibly easy to set up with 4 LED buttons that allow you to freely customize your different outputs and displays. And the display is rotatable in 90-degree increments, allowing for very easy use regardless of what flow direction that you have. In addition, the MIM in particular also has a remote display option. You can use this if you wanted to mount the display onto a wall, for example, or if you were having a particularly high temperature that MIM could otherwise not tolerate. Putting distance between the electronic and the flow body helps to protect the electronic in that regard. As I've mentioned earlier with the UK, there are also these installation advantages there, particularly with the different media configurations, allowing for more options. And in addition to that, because the display is rotatable, these otherwise one-directional products that you would have to specify a direction beforehand to set up your display, and then you couldn't remove that from the line and put it to a new line. Because of the rotatable display, you can very easily shift this from one line to the other as your needs are suited.
Nice. Yeah, that's awesome that you can kind of customize it to,
of course,
for different flow.
Customizable and easy to install.
Awesome. And could you share some examples of how facilities are using these instruments?
Of course. We've had cases where customers have wanted a digitized display. So a digitized display and output. So for example, if they wanted a frequency in order to monitor for their PLC, this has kind of been a slowly creeping up trends that I've observed, at least in larger industries, that if they want to be able to work with the data in different ways, then often frequency is preferred. And they also wanted a totalizing output. So we had a frequency. Well, we had the C3T0, which can simultaneously do a frequency and totalizing function, which is a very, very rare set of capabilities for electronics in general. We have also had plenty of examples of customers trying to measure different concentrations of glycol with water, and for various reasons they may not be interested in different types of products. But one of the advantages of the DUK is the large turndown ratio. So what that means is that there's a very large range of different flows that this can measure. As I said earlier, unfortunately, there is kind of a common weakness amongst ultrasonics in terms of viscosity. So normally this wouldn't have been possible. However, we were able to set them up with a 60% water glycol mixture using our configuration tool.
Awesome. All right. And then looking into the maintenance requirements, what can users expect in terms of long-term reliability?
The MIM, MIS, MIK, and DUK are all products that have no moving parts inside of your flow. This tends to be something that heavily increases reliability. The old adage of a chain is only as strong as its weakest link still applies to engineering, unfortunately. The more moving parts, the more things can go wrong.
Right.
So none of these products that it's currently on have had any major reliability issues. And as I said, you do have 1 year of warranty anyway, should the unfortunate case arise. But at the very least, we've not had many issues with the C3T0 whatsoever.
Awesome. All right. So for our viewers considering new flow measurement solutions, what are some key points that they should know about C3T0 technology?
There are two main points to get across with the C3T0 that I would heavily recommend considering for your applications. The first is versatility. There are many products that can do individual aspects of the C3T0. There are different products that have a 4 to 20. There are different products that have a 0 to 10. Frequency, batching, totalizing. There are next to no products that I've seen that offer all of those. In addition to that, because of the 4 LEDs and the different menus and configurations, this product is even more customizable than a lot of others, despite having so many options you can work with. So, the C3T0 is incredibly versatile for different products, and because of that menu setup, it's also incredibly easy to install.
Awesome. Yeah, those are some really great points, and I feel like some good takeaways. All right, so thank you so much, Michael, for helping us launch Instrumentation Insights and for sharing such valuable information. Don't forget to follow us to stay up to date on the latest instrumentation insights at KOBOLD. Thank you guys so much, and thanks, Michael, for joining us.
Thank you.